Hello students and welcome to Pinnacle Online Coaching Classes. I am Shruti and in today's video lecture, I will be discussing with you the 100 very important MCQ questions which were asked in All India Open Test. Recently we conducted an All India Open Test of Biology and the discussion of solution of all those 100 questions will be done in this video. So I will be explaining each of these questions and the explanation will be in English medium. पर मैंने एक दूसरा वीडियो भी बनाया है जिसमें मैं चीज़ों को एक्सप्लेन कर रही हूँ हिंदी मीडियम में, ताकि वैसे स्टूडेंट जो हिंदी में खुद को अधिक कंफर्टेबल महसूस करते हैं वो भी इन सारे 100 क्वेश्चंस को आसानी से समझ पाएं. So we would be continuing this video lecture in English only. So without wasting time, let's begin. And our first question was, among which light photosynthesis takes place fast? So we have to tell that which is that light in which the photosynthesis it takes place the fastest. So the answer for this question is white light. In the presence of white light, photosynthesis it occurs at the fastest rate, and this is because the white light it is consists of 7 colors, that is Vibgyor. Because of the presence of this 7 colors in the presence of white light, photosynthesis takes place very fast. Moving to question number 2. Our question number 2 is the green pigment which is found in leaf of plant is. We have to name that green pigment because of which the plant is green in color, and that green pigment is said to be chlorophyll. Because of the presence of this leaf it is green in color, and chlorophyll it helps in photosynthesis as well. Okay, so for question number 2, B, that is chlorophyll, is the correct option. Moving to question number 3. So question number 3, we have in plants exchange of gases takes place through. So we have to name that particular organ through which exchange of gases it takes place in plants. And the exchange of gases it takes place with the help of stomata. What are stomata? Stomata are tiny pores. Okay, and through these tiny pores there is an exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen that takes place through this, and this tiny pores called stomata they are present on the leaves of the plant. So always remember that in case of plants, exchange of gases it basically takes place through stomata, which are the tiny pores which are present on leaves of the plants. Okay, so for question number 3, C, that is stomata, is the correct option. Moving to question number 4, we have in lichens, the following organisms are in symbiotic relation. So we have to name that what are those organisms which are in symbiotic association in case of lichens. First of all, try to understand that what is symbiotic association. Okay. So there are certain organisms that live together, and by living together they share shelter as well as nutrients, and in such a way that both of them they get benefited. If we have one organism as A and another organism as B, then they live together as well as they share the nutrients, and they share things in such a way that both of them get benefited, and such a kind of relationship is said to be symbiotic relationship or symbiotic association. And lichens it is also a symbiotic association, and it is the symbiotic association of algae and fungi. So always remember that lichen, what it is a symbiotic association of algae and fungi. And litmus, which is a natural indicator, it is also obtained from lichens, as well as lichen acts as a indicator of air pollution. Okay, it also helps us in indicating the level of air pollution. So question number 4, A, is the correct option. Now moving to question number 5, and the question number 5 is which of the following is not an insectivorous plant? So 4 plants have been given, and we have to identify that among these 4 which is not an example of an insectivorous plant. Okay, so first of all, try to understand that what is an insectivorous plant. From the name itself, it is clear that insectivorous plants are those plants that are capable of capturing and digesting insect. Basically, the insectivorous plants, they are green and they are able to prepare their own food. But when nitrogen supply is concerned, then they depend on another organism for their nitrogen supply, and they usually get that nitrogen supply from insects by digesting them, by eating them, and therefore they are said to be insectivorous plant. And Drosera, Nepenthes and Dionaea, they all are the example of insectivorous plant only hibiscus, it is not an example of insectivorous plants. So option number D is the correct option. Moving to question number 6, we have the nitrogen fixing bacteria leaves in the root nodules of. So we have to name that what is where the nitrogen So after question number 5, now let's have a look at question number 6. So the question number 6 says that nitrogen fixing bacteria lives in the root nodules of. So we have to basically tell that where the nitrogen fixing bacteria they generally live. So first of all, try to understand that nitrogen, it is present in atmosphere in a large quantity. But this nitrogen, it cannot be taken by plants directly. Okay, they need plants in soluble form. And in order to make the atmospheric nitrogen in such a form so that plant can absorb it, we have certain bacteria which are said to be nitrogen fixing bacteria. What they do, they generally convert atmospheric nitrogen into soluble forms. Okay, and a common example of nitrogen fixing bacteria is rhizobium, and it is found in the root nodules of leguminous plants. Okay, and leguminous plants like pulses are there. Pulses are said to be leguminous plants. So generally in their root nodules, nitrogen fixing bacteria are found. So for question number 6, D is the correct option. Moving to question number 7. The question number 7 is, which of the following is not a micronutrient? So we have to identify that among the four elements like silicon, sodium, copper and calcium, which of the following is not an example of micronutrient? First of all, it's important to understand that what is a micronutrient. So a micronutrient are those vitamins and minerals which are required in very small quantity. From the name itself, it suggests that it's a micronutrient. So the quantity in which it is required, it is also going to be very small. So micronutrient, it can be a vitamin or it can be a mineral, but they are always required in very small quantity. But despite it is required in small quantity, it is very much essential for the growth and development of the organism. Okay. They are sometimes also referred to as micromineral or trace elements. And calcium, it is not an example of micronutrient. All silicon, sodium and copper, they are an example of micronutrient, but calcium, it is not an example of micronutrient. So question number 7, D is the correct option. Now moving to question number 8. The question number 8 is, the process of obtaining food in amoeba is. We have to name what the process by which amoeba it generally obtains its food. So the process by which it obtains its food, it is said to be phagocytosis. Okay. What happens in case of amoeba, that the large food material, first of all, it is broken down into smaller fragments. How? So amoeba, it secretes some extracellular enzyme that breaks this large food material into smaller food particles, and then the intake of food material is done by pseudopodia, which are the false leg of amoeba, and the process by which the amoeba obtains food, that is said to be phagocytosis. So for question number 8, A is the correct option. Moving to question number 9. So question number 9 is, which of the following is the correct order for the process of holozoic nutrition? Okay, so the holozoic nutrition, it has certain processes and we have to arrange the process in the manner they take place. So holozoic nutrition, it is the most common mode of nutrition, and we human beings, we also have this kind of nutrition only. Okay, and the various processes which are involved in holozoic nutrition, they include ingestion, digestion, then absorption, then assimilation, and then digestion. So for question number 9, B is the correct option. What do you mean by ingestion? So ingestion means taking complex food. Okay, and generally the food which we take, they are organic in nature. So ingestion means taking complex organic food through mouth. Then in the next step is digestion. In digestion, there is a breakdown of complex organic food into simple food, and this digestion, it occurs with the help of enzymes. After digestion, the another process is absorption. So this is the process in which the simple and soluble nutrients, they get absorbed in the blood. And after absorption, we have assimilation. In assimilation, the absorbed food is being utilized for their metabolic processes which an organism perform. And the last step is digestion, and digestion refers to the removal of undigested food. So means the food which is not digested in the entire process, they are removed from the body of the organism, and that step is said to be digestion. So these are the 5 steps which are involved in holozoic nutrition, and for question number 9, B is the correct option. Moving to question number 10. The question number 10 is wisdom teeth is so we have to name that what is wisdom teeth. So wisdom teeth, it is the third and the last molar teeth, and they are the final teeth that are rubbed. Okay, and when we get this wisdom teeth, so when a person are in their late teens or in their early 20s, then usually these wisdom teeth, it occurs. Okay, so for question number 10, B, that is third molar teeth, it is the correct option. Moving to the next question, we have question number 11, and in question number 11 we have been asked that incisor, which are very sharp teeth, and it is used for cutting or shearing food. So this statement tells us about the incisor, which is a sharp teeth, and basically it helps in cutting down or shearing of food. We have to name that how many incisors do we have, what is the number of incisors which are found in our teeth. And the answer for this question is option C, that is 8. We have altogether 8 incisors in our teeth. Okay, altogether we have 4 types of teeth. First one is incisor, then we have canine, then we have molar, then we have premolar. So these are the 4 kind of teeth which is found in our mouth, and altogether a human being or an adult human being, it has 32 teeth. Okay, and the number of incisor, it is 8, number of canine, it is 4, number of molar, it is 12, and this 12, it includes the 4 wisdom teeth, and premolar, it is of 8, and altogether an adult human being, it has 32 teeth. Okay, so for question number 11, option C, that is 8, is the correct option. Moving to question number 12, we have been asked that which enzyme is secreted by salivary gland. So we have to name that particular enzyme which is secreted by this, and the correct option for this is option number A, that is amylase. Now the complete name of this enzyme is salivary amylase, and this is the enzyme which is being secreted by salivary gland, and the main purpose of the salivary amylase is to convert carbohydrate into simple sugar. Okay, so all the carbohydrate, they get converted into simple sugar, which is known as maltose, by the salivary amylase, which is being secreted by salivary gland. So for question number 12, A, that is amylase, it is the correct option. Moving to question number 13, we have been asked that name the hardest material which is present in human body. What is that particular material which is the most hard, means which is the hardest inside our human body? And the hardest material, it is enamel. Okay, especially the tooth enamel, it is the most durable white outer covering of teeth, and it is basically made up of calcium phosphate, and it is the hardest material which is present in our human being. Okay, so for question number 13, C is the correct option. Moving to question number 14, we have match the following. So we have been given the 3 food components, carbohydrate, proteins and fats, and then we have products of their digestion, that carbohydrate, they get digested into what, or the protein, it gets digested into what. So we know that carbohydrate, they are basically made up of sugar. So whenever carbohydrate will be digested, they will be converted into sugar. So for must B, sugar is the correct option. For protein, they are made up of a large number of amino acids, so they will be digested into, or they will be converted into amino acid, while fat, they are made up of fatty acids. So 3, A is the correct option. So for all these 3, the correct option is A, that is 1B, 2C and 3A. Okay, so now you remember that carbohydrate, it gives sugar as its digestion product, protein it gives amino acid as its digestion product, and fats they give fatty acid and glycerol as their digestion product. Okay, now after question number 15, so now after question number 14, we have question number 15 as name the type of carbohydrate that can be digested by ruminants but not by humans. Okay, so in this question, a particular type of carbohydrate has been asked, and that particular carbohydrate, it can be easily digested by ruminants, but it cannot be digested by humans. Okay, so first of all, try to understand that who are ruminants. So ruminants, they are basically those organisms which have a large sac-like structure which is present generally between the large intestine and the small intestine. Large intestine and small intestine, they have a large sac-like structure, and that sac-like structure, it is said to be rumen, and it contains certain bacteria that are capable of digesting cellulose. But this kind of structure is absent in case of human being, and we cannot digest cellulose. So cellulose is that particular type of carbohydrate which can be digested by ruminant, but it cannot be digested by human beings. So for question number 15, C, that is cellulose, is the correct option. Moving to question number 16, we have what is the function of hydrochloric acid. So we have been asked that what is the major function of hydrochloric acid, whether it makes pepsin enzyme effective or it kills bacteria which may enter in stomach with food. So for this, option number C, that is both first and second, they are the correct option. Hydrochloric acid, it makes pepsin enzyme very much effective, as well as it kills the bacteria, whichever bacteria that enter in the stomach with the food. Okay, so for question number 16, C, that is both 1 and 2 is the correct option. Moving to question number 17, we have been asked that the largest gland in human body, we have to name that particular gland which is the largest in size. And for this, the correct answer is liver. It is the largest gland, and it is also the largest internal organ which is present in our body. So always remember, liver is not only the largest gland, but also it is the largest internal organ which is found in our body. Okay, so for question number 17, A is the correct option. Moving to question number 18, we have in which part of the body food gets absorbed. Okay, so we have to name that particular part, and the food, it basically gets absorbed in small intestine. Okay, so the walls of small intestine, they basically absorb the digestive nutrients, and they take the digestive nutrients into bloodstream, and the blood then it delivers it to the rest of the body. Okay, so for question number 18, A, that is small intestine, it is the correct option. And this is small intestine, they have a lining, they have a wall in the small intestine, and whatever the nutrient which is being absorbed or which are digested, they get transferred to the blood through this only. So for question number 18, A, that is small intestine, is the correct option. Moving to question number 19, we have how many ATP molecules are produced from one glucose molecule during anaerobic respiration. So we have to name that number of ATP molecules which are being produced. So anaerobic respiration means the respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen. If respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, it is said to be aerobic, and if it takes place in the absence of oxygen, it is said to be anaerobic respiration. And during anaerobic respiration, only 2 ATP molecules are produced. So for question number 19, A, that is 2, is the correct option. Question number 20 asks that during which process energy is released from the absorbed food. Okay, so once the food gets absorbed, then we need energy from that absorbed food so that we can have our metabolic activities, and the process during which energy is released, that particular process is said to be respiration. It releases energy in the form of ATP which we utilize for doing our metabolic activities. So for question number 20, A, that is respiration, is the correct option. Moving to question number 21. we have been asked that spiracles are used for breathing in. We have to name that in case of which organism spiracles they are used for the breathing purpose. Is it being used in the case of fish, or it is used in the case of cockroach, or in the case of earthworm? And the correct option is cockroach. So basically the cockroaches, they have spiracles as well as trachea as their organs for breathing. What is spiracle? What is trachea? So first of all, try to understand about trachea. So inside cockroach, there is a network of hollow tubes which run through the body of an insect, and that hollow tube network of tubes, they are said to be trachea, and each trachea, it opens on the body's surface in the form of very small pores, and that is said to be spiracles. And using this spiracles and trachea, cockroaches, they generally breathe. So for question number 21, B is the correct option. Now question number 22 is, alveoli is the functional unit of. So we have been given that alveoli, we have to tell that it is the functional unit of what? So it is the functional unit of lungs. Okay, so what is lungs? Lungs is that particular organ where the exchange of gases takes place, and in lungs also at alveoli the exchange of gases take place. The deoxygenated blood, that is the blood which is rich in carbon dioxide, it releases carbon dioxide at alveoli, while the oxygen which we breathe in, that oxygen get transferred to the blood and the blood become oxygenated. So this exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, it takes place in alveoli, and therefore alveoli is considered to be the functional unit of lungs. So for question number 22, C, that is lungs, is the correct option. So now moving to question number 23. So question number 23 asks us that what is the another name for windpipe? So the another name for windpipe is trachea. What is trachea? What is windpipe? It's a narrow tube. Okay, and this narrow tube, it allows the passage of air from nose to lungs. Okay, so if somebody asks you that how this windpipe or trachea looks like, so it's a narrow tube, and basically the main importance or the main use of trachea is to allow the air to pass from nose to lungs. Okay, so for question number 23, C, that is trachea, is the correct option. Our next question is, what is the purpose of little hairs inside the nose? So we all have seen that inside our nose there are certain little hairs. So we have been asked that what is the purpose of those little hairs? So the purpose of those little hairs which are present inside our nose is to keep dust out of the lungs. We don't want to inhale, or we don't want that the dust particle, it reaches inside our lungs or disturb its function, and therefore we have those little hairs that keep the dust out of the lung. For question number 24, C is the correct option. Moving to question number 25, the question number 25 is, the device which is used by the doctor to check up the heartbeat is. So what is the name of particular device? So if you have visited doctor once, then you must be realizing that he has a device through which he tries to check up your heartbeat, whether your heart is functioning properly or not. And the device which the doctor uses, that device is said to be a stethoscope. By using this device, the doctor, it listens to your heartbeat and determines whether your heart is functioning properly or not. So for question number 25, D, stethoscope, is the correct option. Moving to question number 26. Question number 26 is, the substance found in blood which helps in clotting is. We know that blood clotting takes place in blood, and we have been asked that what is that particular substance which is responsible for clotting. Then that particular substance is called fibrinogen. It constitutes 4% of plasma protein, and it is an important fact about fibrinogen that it constitutes 4% of plasma protein, and it is a very important clotting factor. And when clotting takes place, then this fibrinogen, it gets converted into fibrin. So if anybody asks you that what is the clotting factor which is present in blood, then that clotting factor is fibrinogen, and it gets converted into fibrin on clotting. Okay, so for question number 26, A fibrinogen is the correct option. Moving to question number 27. Question number 27 asks us that what blood cells they act as. We know that the blood, it has four major components. The first component is plasma, then the another component is platelets, then we have white blood cells, and then we have red blood cells. So in this white blood cell, it is important. And what does it act as? So it acts as a defense against infection. So basically, what does white blood cells do? They engulf the foreign particle and the harmful microbes that enter into our body, and therefore they help us in fighting diseases. It also makes the immune system of our body, and therefore they act as a defense against the infection. So always remember that white blood cells, they act as a defense against infection. So for question number 27, A is the correct option. Moving to question number 28. So question number 28 states that blood of cockroach is called. So we have to basically name that what is the particular term which is given to the blood of cockroach. And blood of cockroach, it is said as hemolymph. Basically, cockroaches, they have an open circulatory system, and the blood in this case is said to be hemolymph, especially in the case of cockroach. And this blood of cockroach, it is allowed to flow freely inside the body, and it touches all the internal organs and tissues. If we talk about the composition of hemolymph, then 90% of this blood, it is a watery fluid, and 10% it is made up of hemocytes. Okay, so this is about the composition of hemolymph, and this is the blood of cockroach. So for question number 28, C is the correct option. Moving to question number 29. The question number 29 is, what is the normal blood pressure of human being is? So we have to simply name the normal blood pressure, and the normal blood pressure is 120/80 millimeter Hg. Okay, where this 120, it represents systolic pressure, and 80, it represents diastolic pressure. Okay, so always remember that the normal blood pressure of human being, it is 120/80 millimeter Hg. After question number 29, question number 30. So the question number 30 is, the blood from the heart, it is transported to all parts of body by. So we know that we have blood vessels, and these blood vessels help in carrying blood from heart to different parts of the body. And what is the name of that particular blood vessel that transports blood from heart to different body parts? That particular blood vessel is said to be artery. Okay, and artery is that vessel that always carries blood away from the heart, and it always carries it towards tissue and organs, while veins, they do simply opposite of arteries. They carry blood from tissues and other body parts and take this blood to heart again. Okay, so for question number 30, A, arteries, it is the correct option. Moving to question number 31. So question number 31 is, among the following, double circulation system is seen in. So we have to say that in which of the following organism double circulatory system is found. Okay, so we know that circulatory system is basically of two types. One is said to be open circulatory system, and another is said to be double circulatory system. But before we understand about single and double circulatory system, it is important to understand that what is circulation. So circulation means movement of blood from heart to different body parts through lungs. And in case of human being, we have a double circulatory system. And in case of human being, the blood, it passes through heart twice, and therefore we say that the circulatory system, it is a double circulatory system. In once there is a circulation of oxygenated blood, and in another case it is the circulation of deoxygenated blood. And this double circulatory system, it is seen in case of human being. So for question number 31, C, that is human being, it is the correct option. So after question number 31, let's move on to question number 32. So question number 32 asks us that what is the functional unit of kidney? So the functional unit of kidney is nephron, and the work of nephron is to remove waste from body and it produces urine. Basically, kidney, it is a part of excretory system and its functional unit is nephron. So for question number 32, A nephron is the correct option. Now moving to question number 33. So the question number 33 asks us that the eyes of potato, they are useful for what? So the eyes of potato, they are basically useful for vegetative propagation. Now what is this vegetative propagation? It's a type of asexual reproduction. And in this type of asexual reproduction, new plants, they are generally produced from roots, stems, leaves, buds or eyes of potatoes like thing. Okay, and since all of these parts are vegetative parts and since reproduction is taking place through vegetative part, therefore this type of reproduction, this mode of reproduction is said to be vegetative propagation since the reproduction is taking place with the help of vegetative part. So for question number 33, B, that is vegetative propagation, is the correct option. Now question number 34. So question number 34 is Hydra produces by. Okay, produces or it basically reproduces by what? What is the method of reproduction in case of Hydra? So the method of reproduction in case of Hydra is budding. Okay, and what is budding? It's a type of asexual reproduction in which the organism, it develops from an outgrowth or bud due to cell division at a particular site. So if there is, like this is the Hydra, then at a particular point there is a large number of cell division taking place, and because of that excessive cell division there is an outgrowth, and this outgrowth or bud, it starts growing on using its regenerative cells or because of cell division, and once they grew in large size they just detach itself and a new individual is created. Okay, and Hydra, it generally reproduces by the method of budding only, and the cell which Hydra uses for this budding process, that is said to be regenerative cells. Okay, so question number 34, B, that is budding, is the correct option. Moving to next question, that is question number 35. We have been asked that which of the following is the male reproductive part of a flower. So the male reproductive part of a flower is stamen, and this stamen, it has two parts. One part is said to be anther and another is said to be filament. Okay, and the main purpose of anther is to produce pollen grains, while filament, it supports anther. Okay, and this anther and filament, they are together said to be stamen, which is the male reproductive part of flower. So for question number 35, A, that is a stamen, is the correct option. So after question number 35, let's move on to question number 36. So question number 36 asks us that the zoophily means pollination by. So zoophily, it's a type of pollination, and it is such a type of pollination where the pollen grains, they are basically transferred by animals, birds or bears or rabbits, such kind of things. Okay, so whenever pollen grains are being transferred by any animal or bird, then that kind of pollination is said to be zoophily. Okay, so for question number 36, A, that is animal, is the correct option. So after question number 36, let's move on to question number 37. So the question number 37 is true fruit, it develops from what? So the true fruit, it generally develops from ovary. First of all, you need to remember that there are two types of fruit. One is said to be true fruit and another is said to be false fruit. So the true fruit is that fruit which is derived from the ovary of flower and it is not associated with any non-capillary part. Okay, for example, tomato, pea, mango, they all are the example of true fruit, and whenever true fruit is going to develop, it is going to develop from ovary only. While false fruit is that fruit which is derived from ovary along with other accessory floral parts, and such type of fruit, it is said to be false fruit. For example, apple, it's a type of false fruit. So always remember that the true fruit, it develops from ovary only. So for question number 37, A, that is ovary, is the correct option. Moving to question number 38, we have been asked that what is malacophyly. So we have asked, I have told you that what is zoophily. When the pollination takes place with the help of animal, it is said to be zoophily. Similarly, when the pollination takes place through slugs and snail, then that type of pollination is said to be malcophily. So for question number 38, B, that is pollination takes place through slugs and snails, it is the correct option. Moving to question number 39. So the question number 39 is, which of the following does not have bisexual flower? Okay, so first of all, understand what is bisexual flower. So bisexual flower are those flowers in which both stamen and pistil, they both are present in the same flowers. Okay, and if the both male and female reproductive part, they both are present on the same flower, then such kind of flower are said to be bisexual flower. While there are certain flowers which do not have both the stamen and pistil in the same flower, and they are said to be unisexual flower. And the example of unisexual flower or the flower which is not a bisexual flower, it is papaya. It does not have bisexual flower, it has unisexual flower. So for question number 39, D, that is papaya, is the correct option. Moving to question number 40. So the question number 40 is the plant which reproduces by means of spores. So spore formation or the method of spore, it is also one of the way by which plants reproduces, and generally the plant which reproduces by spore, it is said to be ferns. The spores, they are basically the reproductive structures that can grow into new plants, and generally the ferns, they reproduces by using spores only. Ferns, they do not produce their own seed, and the mode of reproduction in case of plant is using spores. So for question number 40, C is the correct option. Moving to question number 41. Question number 41 is, in onions food is stored in. So we all eat onion, and we have been asked that where the food is basically stored. So the food is stored in scale leaves in case of onion. Okay, and the food is basically stored in the form of specialized flesh leaves, and these flesh leaves are said to be scale leaves, and this is where the food is basically stored. So for question number 41, C, that is a scale leaves, it is the correct option. Moving to question number 42, we have been asked that lactobacillus, which is a type of bacteria, where it is found in or where it is present in. So it is present in curd. Okay, lactobacillus, it helps in the formation of curd, or it basically promotes the formation of curd. It generally multiplies in mild condition, and it converts milk into curd. So if anybody asks you that where lactobacillus is present in, so it is present in curd. So for question number 42, A is the correct option. Moving to question number 43, the question number 43 states that yeast is used in the production of. So we have been asked that for what production we use yeast. So yeast, it is generally used for the production of alcohol. So by the process of fermentation, yeast, it produces alcohol. And what is fermentation? It is the process in which yeast, it breaks down sugar into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Okay, so whenever glucose is there and anaerobic respiration takes place or fermentation occurs with the help of yeast, then this glucose, it gets converted into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Okay, so for question number 43, B is the correct option. Moving to question number 44. Question number 44 is, female Anopheles mosquito causes what? So we have to name that what is the disease which is basically caused by female Anopheles mosquito. Then it carries or it causes malaria. Okay, what does female Anopheles mosquitoes they do? They pick up the parasite from infected person and they spread it to healthy person, and they generally cause malaria. So for question number 44, D, that is malaria, it is the correct option. Now moving to question number 45. Question number 45 is, which of the following is an antibiotic? So we have been given four options, and we have been asked that among these, which is an example of an antibiotic? So all are examples of an antibiotic. Streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin, they all are the example of antibiotic. And what are antibiotics? Antibiotics are a group of medicines that are used to treat infections that are caused by bacteria. So you can remember that biotic is there and B for bacteria also. So antibiotic means those group of medicines that basically treat those infections or those diseases which are basically caused by bacteria. They either kill or they slow the growth of bacteria, and therefore it helps in protecting ourselves. So for question number 45, all is the correct option. Now moving to question number 46. Question number 46 is the most common carrier of communicable diseases is. So communicable diseases are those kind of diseases which can be easily spread, okay, by means of contact or by any other mode. Okay, and the most common carrier of those communicable diseases is housefly. And it is the most dangerous carrier of disease. What can it do? It can collect the harmful microbes on its leg and mouth from the waste, and then it transfer it to the food items by sitting on them. And when we consume those foods on which housefly has already sat, then we get infected. So for question number 46, C, that is housefly, it is the correct option. And therefore it is advisable not to eat that kind of food in which housefly they generally sit or something, okay, because it may lead to any kind of disease. Okay, so you need to be conscious about the food which you eat. So for question number 47, we have been asked that the fermentation is carried out by the yeast cells in the absence of. Always remember that the fermentation, it is a type of anaerobic process. Okay, and anaerobic process, it always occurs in the absence of oxygen, and therefore fermentation which is carried on by yeast cell, it generally occurs in the absence of oxygen, and therefore option number A, oxygen, it is the correct option. Okay. Now, moving to question number 48. Question number 48 is the cell in which viruses live is called. Okay, so what is the particular name of cell in which the viruses they generally live? So that particular is said to be host cell. And the virus, it depends on host cell that they are infected in order to reproduce. Okay, so all the life sustaining functions or the reproduction for each and everything, viruses, they depend on this host cell only. Without host cell, they cannot simply carry out their any kind of function or any kind of reproduction. So host cell, it is very much required in case of virus, and generally the host cell where these viruses live, they generally infect that host cell. So for question number 48, D, that is host cell, it is the correct option. Now moving to question number 49. In question number 49, we have been asked that which of the following diseases are caused by viruses. So now a number of diseases has been given here, and we have been asked that what are those diseases which generally spread or which generally are caused by viruses. So all of the above, that is AIDS, polio, mumps, common cold, measles and chickenpox, they all are caused by viruses, and therefore the correct option for question number 49 is D, that is all of the above. And the diseases which are caused by viruses, they are said to be viral disease, and they can be mild also, and sometimes they can be fatal also. For example, AIDS, which is caused by HIV virus, it is a fatal disease. Okay, so question number 49, D is the correct option. Moving to the next question, that is question number 50. We have been asked that which of these diseases are not caused by bacteria. So among all these four, dengue, it is not caused by bacteria. It generally occurs by a virus. So we have a dengue virus which causes this disease called dengue, and it is not caused by virus. Okay, so question number 50, A, that is dengue, is the correct option. Moving to question number 51. Question number 51 is mycology is the branch of botany in which we study. So mycology, logy means study, and mycology is that branch of botany in which we study about fungi. So basically, or microorganism, they are of 5 types, that is fungi, algae, bacteria, protozoa and virus. And fungi, it is also a type of microorganism, and its study is said to be mycology. Similarly, the study of virus, it is said to be virology. So always remember that for question number 51, that is mycology, it's a branch of botany in which we study about fungi. Okay. Now moving to question number 52. the process in which milk is heated to about 70 degrees Celsius to 15 to 30 seconds. So there is a process, and in that process what we do, we heat our milk to around 70 degrees centigrade and we heat it for 15 to 30 seconds. And when after heating it for 15 to 30 seconds at 70 degrees centigrade, what we do is suddenly chill it and store it. And that process, it is said to be pasteurization. And what is the advantage of this process? This process, it prevents the growth of microbes, and it was discovered by Louis Pasteur, and therefore it is called pasteurization. And the milk which is already pasteurized, it can be consumed without boiling. Why? Because these are free of harmful microbes. Okay, so for question number 52, pasteurization is the correct option. Moving to question number 53, we have been asked that which type of diseases are caused by viruses in animals. So viruses, they generally cause a number of disease, and the disease which are very much common in case of animals which are caused by viruses, these are foot and mouth diseases. Okay, so viruses, they generally get transmitted through saliva, mucus, milk, etc. And the disease generally they cause are foot and mouth diseases, and this kind of disease is very much common in case of cattle, in case of pigs, in case of ships, etc. So question number 53, A is the correct option. Moving to question number 54. Question number 54 is paleobotany is the study of. Again, this kind of question comes in SSC CGL exam very much. So always remember the small questions. Each question can earn you 2 marks. So just pay attention. So paleobotany, it is basically the study of plant fossils. Okay, and why the study of plant fossils is important? Because it is essential for studying about evolution, and it enables us to see relationship between different organisms. By studying the plant fossils, we can actually realize that how different species are connected with each other, or what is the relationship between different organisms. So question number 54, option is B, that is plant fossil. So after question number 54, let's move on to question number 55. And question number 55 is the study of pollen grains is called. Again, a study, and the study of pollen grain, it is said to be palynology. Okay, and palynology is basically the study of pollen grains. And what is pollen grains? So pollen grains are the male genetic material which is generally present in anther, and they get transferred to sigma by the method of pollination, and that pollination can also take place in a number of ways. It can take place with the help of biotic agents like animals, insects, bees, etc. And it can take place with the help of abiotic agents like water, wind as well. So for question number 55, the correct option is palynology, which is the study of pollen grains. Moving to question number 56. Question number 56 is, which of the following animal carries its young ones in a bag-like structure which is present on its abdomen? So this is a very simple question. We all know that kangaroo is that particular animal which carries its young ones in bag-like structure. Okay, and this kangaroo, it belongs to a special group which is said to be marsupial. Okay, and the animals of this category, they have a special pouch which helps in carrying their babies. And the baby kangaroo, they are named as Joey. So you may be asked that what is the name given to baby kangaroo? So that particular name is Joey. So question number 56, B is the correct option. Moving to question number 57. Question number 57 asks us that how does amoeba reproduces? So amoeba, it generally reproduces by the method of binary fission, and binary fission, it is also an asexual mode of reproduction. And in this mode of reproduction, what happens? A parent cell, it divides itself into 2 equal daughter cells, and each cell then acts like as an amoeba, and whenever binary fission takes place, the parent cell, it does not remain into existence. Okay, so if this is an amoeba, then what will happen? It break into another part, and each of this acts like an amoeba. And since 2 is produced in such a fission, therefore it is said to be binary fission. So after question number 57, let's move on to question number 58. So question number 58 is, which animal reproduces by multiple fission? So multiple fission, it is also a type of asexual mode of reproduction, and in this mode of reproduction what happens? One parent cell, it divides into many daughter cells. In case of binary fission, the parent cell, it divides into two daughter cells. But in multiple fission, the parent cell, it divides into many daughter cells. And such kind of reproduction, it occurs in case of Plasmodium. So always remember that Plasmodium, it reproduces by the method of multiple fission. So after question number 58, let's move to question number 59. So question number 59 is, fragmentation occurs in what? So fragmentation, it's also a type of asexual mode of reproduction, and it occurs in case of Spirogyra. What happens in fragmentation? It's a process in which the body, it breaks into two or more parts, and each part is said to be a fragment, and each of the part or each of the fragment, it grows into a new individual. And Spirogyra, it generally reproduces by the method of fragmentation. So for question number 59, C is the correct option. And now question number 60 is, question number 60 we have animals that give birth to young ones and the development of embryo takes place inside the body of mother are called. So animals, they are of various types. So there are certain animals that give birth to their young ones and the embryo, it develops inside the body of mother, and those animals, they are said to be viviparous. And generally all the mammals, they are examples of viviparous. In fact, we human beings, we are also examples of viviparous. While viviparous, they are different from oviparous. Oviparous, they generally lay egg instead of giving birth to their young ones. So for question number 60, viviparous is the correct option. So now question number 61. So question number 61 asks us that the internal fertilization, it occurs where? Okay, so internal fertilization means, it means the fusion of an egg cell with sperm during sexual reproduction, and generally the internal fertilization, it occurs inside the female body. Okay, so where does internal fertilization occurs? It occurs inside female body. So for question number 61, B is the correct option. Moving to question number 62. Question number 62 states that a tadpole, it develops into an adult frog by the process of what? So there is a process through which a tadpole, it generally develops into an adult frog, and it undergoes significant changes, and that particular process is said to be metamorphosis. So for question number 62, B, that is metamorphosis, it is the correct option. Now question number 63. Question number 63 is, sperms are called as what? So the sperms, they are the examples of, or they are basically called male gamete. Okay, so what are gamete? Gamete are organism reproductive cells, and they are sometimes also referred to as sex cells. And male gamete, it is called as sperms, while female gametes, they are called as ova or egg or oocyte. Okay, so always remember, sperms are said to be male gamete, and for question number 63, D is the correct option. So after question number 63, let's move on to question number 64. So question number 64 asks us that the female gamete, it is produced by what? So I have already told you that the female gamete are called egg or ovum, and it is generally produced by ovaries. Okay, and ovaries, they contain female gamete, which are sometimes called egg or oocyte. Okay, so for question number 64, A is the correct option. Moving to question number 65. So question number 65 is, sex chromosomes is also known as what? So chromosomes, they contain the characteristics, or they contain the traits which is transferred from parents to their offspring, and this chromosome, it is generally present inside the nucleus of the cell. And in human being, we have altogether 23 pair of chromosomes, and among this 23, 22 pairs are common in case of both male and female, and they are said to be autosome. But there is one pair of cell which is different in case of male and different in case of female, and this is the cell which helps us to determine the sex of a person, of an organism, and that particular chromosome, it is said to be sex chromosome, and it is also known by another name, and that name is allosome. In case of male, the sex chromosome, it is XY, and in case of female, it is XX. And X and Y are the two types of sex chromosome. So always remember that sex chromosomes, they are also known as allosome, which helps us in determining the sex of a person. Okay, so question number 65, B is the correct option. Moving to question number 66. So question number 66 is accessory glands of male reproductive system are. So what are the accessory glands? And seminal, vesicle, prostate gland and Cowper's gland, they all are the examples of accessory gland. Seminal vesicle, it contains the 60% of semen contained. The prostate gland, it contains 30% of semen. While Cowper gland, it does not contribute anything to semen, but it secretes fluid so that the acidity of urethra, it can be neutralized. So all these three glands are an example of accessory gland of male reproductive system. So for question number 66, D is the correct option. Now moving to question number 67. So the question number 67 is a very simple question, and we have been asked that the female sex hormones, they are called as what? So the female sex hormones, they are called as estrogen and progesterone. Okay, and since both of them are correct, so option number D, that is both A and C, is the correct option. Remember that estrogen, it is the primary female sex hormone, and it is responsible for the development and regulation of female reproductive system. Along with that, it is also responsible for the development of secondary sexual characteristics in females. And the secondary sexual characteristics, they are those characteristics that help us in determining that whether the given person is a male or a female. Okay, and the development of that secondary sexual characteristics is being regulated by estrogen. So now what does progesterone? It does. So it is generally produced in largest amount during and after ovulation. Okay, and what is ovulation? It is the release of egg from ovaries. Okay, and whenever this progesterone it produced, it helps in preparing uterus for the implantation of fertilized egg. Okay, so for question number 67, both A and C, that is estrogen and progesterone, they both are the example of female sex hormones. After question number 67, let's move on to question number 68. And the question number 68 is, the female frog, it releases a large number of eggs as a mass. And what is the name given to that large number of eggs? And the name is given as spawn. Okay. And what are spawn? Spawn are the jelly-like masses of eggs, and they are generally called frog's spawn. And in case of frog, external fertilization takes place. That is, in this case, the fertilization, that is the fusion of male and female gamete, it does not take place inside the body of female frog, but it takes place outside the body of female frog. And that type of fertilization is said to be external fertilization. Okay, and large mass of eggs which is released by female frog, it is called spawn. After question number 68, 69 is an example of hermaphrodite animal in which cross fertilization occurs. Okay, so first of all, try to understand that what is this hermaphrodite animal. So hermaphrodite animals are those animals that possess both male and female reproductive organ during their lifespan. Okay, means they have, the same animal has male as well as female organ both. And sometimes these animals, they are capable of self-fertilizing, while there are certain other that require a partner. So the example of such hermaphrodite animal in which cross fertilization occurs, it is earthworm. Okay, so for question number 69B, that is earthworm, is the correct option. After question number 69, question number 70 states that the development of unfertilized egg into an adult is called what? Generally, what happens, in order to develop into an adult, egg needs to be fertilized. But in certain cases, even the unfertilized egg, it develops into an adult. And the development of unfertilized egg into an adult, it is said to be parthenogenesis. And it takes place in many insects, like in case of wasps, bees, etc. Parthenogenesis occurs. So for question number 70, A, that is parthenogenesis, it is the correct option. Moving to question number 71, we have in female fertilization takes place in? So we know that the internal fertilization, it basically takes place inside female. So inside the female, where it occurs? So it generally occurs in fallopian tubes. Okay. So the sperm, which is the male gamete, it enters into vagina through uterus and then it reaches to fallopian tubes. And in fallopian tube, the fusion of male and female gamete occurs, that is fertilization takes place. So for question number 71, A, that is fallopian tube, it is the correct option. Question number 72, we have been asked that the test tube babies, the fertilization is called what? We know that the test tube baby, it's a kind of procedure through which babies are produced. And in this case, the fertilization is called in vitro fertilization, that is IVF fertilization. Okay, and sometimes it is also called test tube baby procedure. Okay, in this case, what happens? The eggs from a woman's ovary, it is removed and it is fertilized with a sperm in a laboratory procedure. Okay, and then the fertilized egg, it is returned to women's uterus, and through this the test tube babies are produced. And therefore remember that the fertilization in test tube babies, it occurs with the help of IVF fertilization, that is in vitro fertilization. So for question number 72B, that is in vitro fertilization, it is the correct option. After question number 72, let's move to question number 73. And the question number 73 is, the first successfully cloned animal was what? So the first successfully cloned animal was sheep and it was named as Dolly. While its coded name, it was 6LL3, and it was the first mammal which was cloned successfully. And remember its name, it's Dolly. Okay, that ship was called as Dolly. So question number 73C is the correct option. Moving to question number 74, and question number 74 is, the period of life when the body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity is called what? Okay, and that particular period in which our body undergoes a lot of changes and our sexual organs or the reproductive system, it matures or it develops, that particular period is said to be adolescence. Okay, and it begins around 11 years and it lasts till 18 or 19 years. And since the period of teenager, teenage is also coincided with that time, so those people or those kids who are in between this time, they are said to be teenagers as well. Okay, so for question number 74, B, adolescence is the correct option. Moving to question number 75, we have, which of the following glands secrete oil? So in our body, we have certain glands that secrete many things, and one such gland is oil. Means gland is called sebacous gland, which secretes oil. So always remember, what is sebacous gland? It produces or it secretes oil, and therefore this gland, it is also said as oil gland. So for question number 75, C is the correct option. Moving to question number 76. Question number 76 is, the first menstrual flow at puberty in female is called what? So the first menstrual cycle or the first menstrual bleeding in case of female human, it is said to be menarche, and it is considered to be the central event of a female puberty because it indicates that a female is now ready to reproduce a baby. Okay, so for question number 76, D, that is menarche, it is the correct option. Question number 77 states that the metamorphosis in frog, it is controlled by which of the following hormones? Okay, so metamorphosis, it is that process by which the tadpoles, they get converted into adult frog by undergoing significant changes, and it is generally controlled by hormone, and that particular hormone is said to be thyroxine, which is secreted by thyroid gland. Okay, and iodine, it is very much required for this transformation or for the secretion of thyroxine, and therefore if the water, it lacks in iodine, then many a time tadpoles, they cannot undergo metamorphosis and they did not convert into adult. So always remember that thyroxine, it is responsible for the metamorphosis in plant and it is secreted by thyroid gland. So question number 77, D, that is thyroxine, is the correct option. Now question number 78. who proposed cell theory. So we have to name those scientists who proposed cell theory, and it was Kilden and Swan. So they proposed cell theory, and according to cell theory, all plant and animals, they are made up of cell, and the cell, it is the basic unit of life, and that is the basic cell theory which was proposed by them. So for question number 78, A is the correct option. Question number 79 is, which organelle is considered the powerhouse of the cell? It is a very common question which is asked in SSC CGL, and the power of this house of the cell, it is mitochondria. It is regarded as power of the house of the cell, and why so? Because the energy which our body requires for performing various chemical activities, it is released by this mitochondria in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. So always remember that mitochondria, it is called the powerhouse of the cell. So for question number 79, B, that is mitochondria, is the correct option. Now moving to question number 80. So question number 80 is, plastids which are responsible for giving colors to fruits and flowers are called what? So plastid, it is also a type of cell organelle which is generally present in plant, and there is a certain kind of plastid that give color to fruit and flowers, and that particular plastid is said to be chromoplast. From the name also it is clear that chromo means color. So chromoplasts are those colored plastid that contain various pigments. They can be green, they can be brown, they can be red in color, and so much. Okay. And basically chromoplast, it is of three types. One is said to be chloroplast, and chloroplast, it is green in color, and it is contains the pigment as chlorophyll, which helps in photosynthesis. The second type of chromoplast is phaeoplast, and it is dark brown in color, and rhodoplast contains red pigment. Okay, so always remember that chromoplast, it gives color to fruits as well as flowers. So for question number 80, D is the correct option. So after question number 80, now we will talk about question number 81. Okay, and the question number 81 is again study, and this time we have been asked that what is the study of a tissue called, and the study of a tissue is called histology. So, and what is tissue? It's a group of similar cells that perform a specific function. Okay, so histology, we study about tissue. So for question number 81, A is the correct option. Moving to question number 82, we have the husk of coconut is made up of what? So we all have seen coconut, and we know that it has husk, and that husk, it is made up of a sclerenchyma. What is a sclerenchyma? It is a type of tissue, and it makes plant hard and stiff. And where it is generally present, it is present in stem, it is present in veins of leaves, and many other portions. Okay, so question number 82, B, that is sclerenchyma, it is the correct option. Moving to question number 83. So in 83, we have been asked that which among the following it is not an example of simple tissue. So remember that tissue, it is of two types. One is said to be simple and another is said to be complex. So in simple tissue are those kind of tissue in which cells, they are made up of only one type of cell. Okay, so those tissues which are made up of only one type of cell, they are said to be simple tissue, while those tissues which are made up of more than one type of cell, they are said to be complex tissue. And xylem, it is an example of complex tissue, while parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, they all are the example of simple tissue. Okay, because they are made up of only one type of cell. After question number 83, question number 84, and question number 84 asked us which of the following is an example of tissue. So blood, it is an example of tissue, and it's a type of connective tissue. And why it is said to be connective tissue? Because it connects the entire body system. And this blood, it is made up of four components. One is said to be plasma, another is white blood cell, then we have red blood cell and platelets. And always remember that it's a type of connective tissue, and it is red in color because of the presence of hemoglobin in it. So question number 84, B is the correct option. Question number 85. Question number 85 asks us that the tendon, it connects what? So always remember that the tendon, it connects a muscle to a bone. Okay, and it is also a type of connective tissue. So for question number 85, D is the correct option. After question number 85, question number 86. So the question number 86 is, the blood groups was discovered by who? So this is a simple question, again factual question. So always remember that blood group, it was discovered by Carl Landsteiner. In SSC CGL, many questions in this format is being asked to you. So you need to remember these names, the study of what is called what. So therefore, in our question, we set it according to SSC CGL pattern, and therefore we included questions which also include factual things. Okay. So for question number 86, blood groups, it was discovered by Carl Landsteiner. After question number 86, question number 87, we have blood group which has no antibodies. So generally the blood, it contains an antibody and an antigen, but there is a blood group which has no antibodies, and that particular blood group is AB, and due to the absence of any antibody, the AB, it is regarded as universal recipient. It can receive blood from any other blood group. Okay, since no antibody is present in this case. After question number 87, question number 88 is blood group with no antigens. So earlier we discussed that there is a blood which contains no antibody. Similarly, there is a blood group which has no antigen, and that particular blood group is O, and it is capable of donating blood to any other blood group, and therefore O is regarded as universal donor. Okay, so question number 88, D is the correct option. After question number 88, question number 89, we have which among the following produces seeds? Okay, so there are certain plants that produces seeds, and such type of plants are said to be gymnosperms. Okay, so gymnosperms, they are the seed bearing plants, and remember, in case of gymnosperms, they have a naked seed. Means the seed in case of gymnosperm, they are not covered or they are not enclosed within fruits. Okay, in many cases the seeds, they are present inside the fruit, but in case of gymnosperm, the seed, it is completely naked and it is not covered by any fruit. Okay, so question number 89, D is the correct option. Moving to question number 90, we have which of the following is a flightless bird? So we have been given 4 options, and we have been asked that among these 4, which is an example of a flightless bird, whether it's penguin, whether it's ostrich, or it's a kiwi. So all 3 of them, they are an example of flightless bird. So option number D, that is all of this, is the correct option. And why so? Because they do not have the keel of breastbone, and this is that part of bone that is attached to flight muscles, and since this particular bone is missing, therefore these birds, they are unable to fly, and therefore they are regarded as flightless bird. So after question number 90, let's move on to question number 91. So the question number 91 is pneumatic bones. It's an important characteristics of what? So pneumatic bone, it is an important characteristic of ABs. First of all, understand what is pneumatic bones. So pneumatic bones are those bones which have air spaces within them, and because of the presence of air spaces, it makes them lighter more than a solid bone, and since they are much more lighter, they allow the ABs to fly, and all the birds, they are in the category of ABs, and therefore pneumatic bones, it's an important characteristic of ABs or birds. So question number 91, C is the correct option. Now question number 92. Question number 92 is another type of question which is very commonly asked in SSC exams. So the question number 92 is scurvy is due to the deficiency of what? So scurvy, it's a type of disease which generally occurs because of the deficiency of vitamin C. And remember, vitamin C, it is also known by the name of ascorbic acid. Okay, and this vitamin C, it is required for the health of the body and for repairing the various tissues of the body as well. And if we don't have proper intake of vitamin C, then we would be suffering from the disease called scurvy. So question number 92, vitamin C is the correct answer. Now question number 93, we have cobalt containing vitamin is what? So there is a vitamin which has cobalt as the metal present in it, and that particular vitamin is vitamin B12, and this vitamin B12, it is also known as cobalamin. I'm telling you these scientific names because many times SSC asks you the common name. So maybe they will give you the name of vitamin C and they will ask that what it is called. So you must remember that it is called ascorbic acid. Similarly, vitamin B12, it is also known as cobalamin, and this vitamin B12, it is a water soluble vitamin and it is very much important for the normal functioning of brain and nervous system. Okay, so for question number 93, vitamin B12 is the correct option. After question number 93, let's move to question number 94. And 94, it's a very simple question and it asks us that which of the following is considered as a bodybuilding food. We all know that the protein, it is called a bodybuilding food. So question number 94A is the correct option. Now question number 95. Question number 95 is, which of the following is an example of hinge joint? First of all, try to understand that what is actually hinge joint. So hinge joint is that joint in the bone of an animal or the person, and this joint, it allows the body movement in a particular direction only. Means we are not able to move our in any direction. The motion is there, but this motion, it is restricted in one direction only, and the example of an hinge joint is ankle. Okay, so for question number 95, A is the correct option. And the next question is, the joint which helps in rotating a body in all direction is called what? So hinge joint, it allows movement in a one direction only, but this joint, it allows direction in it allows the body to rotate in all direction, and that particular joint, it is said to be ball and socket joint. So for question number 96, D is the correct option. Now question number 97, we have pituitary gland is situated in. So we have a number of endocrine glands present in our body, and pituitary gland, it is also a type of endocrine gland, and this endocrine gland, this pituitary gland, it is basically present in brain. Okay, it's a pea-sized structure which is located at the base of the brain, and it is sometimes called master gland. Why it is said to be master gland? Because it controls many other endocrine glands like ovary, means the testicles or the ovaries, secretion by them, it is being controlled by pituitary gland only, and therefore it is regarded as master gland. So for question number 97, A, that is brain, is the correct option. Now question number 98. So 98, again, it's like a study of something, and here it has been asked that what is that particular branch of biology is called which deals with heredity and variation. So that particular branch of biology, it is said as genetics. Okay, and it tells us how the traits are basically inherited from parents to their offspring. Okay, so remember, in genetics we study about heredity and variation. We learn about how traits, they get transferred from parents to their offspring. For question number 98, C is the correct option. Now moving to question number 99. So the question number 99 is, uracil is present in. So uracil, it's one of the 4 nucleobases which is present in RNA. Okay, and RNA, it stands for ribonucleic acid, and this uracil, it is present only in RNA. It is not present in DNA. Okay, so question number 99, RNA is the correct option. And the last question for this is question number 100, and it asks us that the coding segment of DNA is called what? So in DNA we have a coding segment, and that particular coding segment is called exon. And what is non-coding segment called? The non-coding segment is called intron. So if anybody asks you that in deoxyribonucleic acid, what is the coding segment called? Then it is called as exon, and the non-coding segment, it is called intron. So for question number 100, D, that is exon, it is the correct option. So this is all about the 100 important MCQ questions which were asked in All India Open Biology Test. So I explained you each and every question with detailed explanation. I hope you enjoyed this video lecture, and now you would be able to answer all these 100 questions and other questions which are related to these questions. So this question paper was set completely according to SSC CGL pattern, and in this many factual questions were included, as SSC CGL asks many times many factual questions. So thank you so much student for listening to the video lecture to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.